We have all been there. You're out with a mate, playing golf, having a bit of a laugh. He's got a new club in the bag. It's doing everything that he wants it to do. And he says on the next tee box, why don't you give this club a go? And would you believe it? You hit it just as well. And I will back up this notion with a left-handed club that I'll hit upside down and hit it over and over again. And the big question is, why does that happen so often? And then potentially you go and buy a club extremely similar, and over a longer period of time, for whatever reason, you don't seem to get the same result. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. Not only finding that club that's going to have a higher success rate for your skill level or your ability, but then also maintaining that success rate, as the honeymoon period is definitely a real thing. Ooh, she was hit. So before we talk about why your mate's golf club works so well for you, and potentially you go and buy one extremely similar and it does nothing for you, this was the head type that I was fitted for way back when. £299 for the head. I spent £250 on the shaft, and for the next 3 months that was the best driver I had ever had. Straight, long, the confidence with the thing was second to none. But there were two big reasons why over time the driver didn't do exactly what it did when I first bought it. Number one, I was quite young, I was having multiple lessons, and my swing technically was changing week by week. And number two, invariably, like all of our golf games, you will start to hit bad shots with even the best fitted equipment you've ever had. And even though we're going to talk about the honeymoon period and that confidence level and why it's so important to reinforce that on a day-to-day basis when you're playing this game, the technical side, the exact reason why I do encourage second-hand equipment, especially for so many new golfers, is because that one club that you did get fitted for and potentially spent £500, £550 for in a room like this, off a mat in a simulator, was working at 8 o'clock in the morning on that day after you've hit 40 warm-up balls. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to travel with your technique well over a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month period. As you progress, you get faster, your swing path changes, all of the other elements that comes with our technical ability. But that is one side of the coin. And to be honest, looking back at 21-year-old Simon with my £550 Titleist 915 driver, a pretty poor excuse to say why the club wasn't working, and it's very easy as golfers to blame the equipment and not ourselves. Because as I've been able to experiment over the last 3 years with varying levels of equipment, old, new, different shafts, different weights, different head types, after I've warmed up and hit a few holes with them, sometimes I end up hitting them better than the clubs that I've been fitted for. Well, mainly because I've got zero pressure. And to be honest, that's one of the big reasons why when your mate hands you a club that you've never hit, you're on the 5th hole on your golf course, you've warmed up slightly, and you think, well, if I hit it bad, I hit it bad. It's not my club. It hasn't been fitted for me. I'm just going to hit it and see what happens. More often than not, because you've got no pressure, no expectations, you hit it out of the middle, you potentially swing it a bit slower because you don't necessarily want to damage your friend's golf clubs, and then lo and behold, the ball goes nice, long, and well straight. And let's be honest, there's a lesson to be had here for our golf games. That golf club that you've just been handed, you've got no scarring issues with it whatsoever. You've never hit a bad shot with the golf club, and you've got zero expectations for it to be hit well. However, just like myself and that very expensive Titleist 915 driver that I had custom built for myself, when I started to hit a few bad shots, a few snap hooks, a few blocks out to the right-hand side, my confidence levels started to drop. Not to mention the thought of how much money I'd actually spent on the piece of equipment. Obviously, as a golfer, you're going to be somewhat frustrated. And to be honest, expectations kill our golf game. We put money, time, effort, practice into this game, and we expect to see a difference. Sadly, the more you want it, the more you expect a good shot, just means it's going to be a harder blow when you do hit a bad shot, and more than likely you're going to compound the error with another poor mistake straight after that, purely because of that frustration. And it's the bit of the golf game none of us actually talk about, even though it potentially has the biggest part to play when it comes to hitting good golf shots. Confidence, positive thinking, the main reason why all of us have a favorite club in the bag, and because it's a favorite and we're confident and we visualize the shot, well, going well, of course, even with a poor technique, you're more than likely to square that club face up, make sure it comes out the middle, and even on a bad shot, which potentially that one was there as I hit it heavy, it still left a relatively decent result. So Simon, how do I keep that constant honeymoon period? How do I keep the same level of no expectations and confidence when a mate just hands me a golf club, or potentially you've just bought a brand new golf club that you've been fitted for and you're reassured this is the club for you constantly, even after hitting multiple bad shots over a couple of month period? Well, sadly, it takes a bit of work, just the same as if you went to the gym for 3 months and then stopped going to the gym for 3 months, you've potentially lost all the progress that you would have had when you did spend the time in there lifting heavy weights. And the same goes for our mind. We have to positively reinforce our confidence, our visualization, the constant inflow of positive thoughts when we're hitting the golf ball. Our brain is very selective when we think about our golf shots. If I say, don't think of a pink elephant, you've all thought of a pink elephant. And again, it applies to golf great, as many of you be on the tee going, I know I'm going to hit this right, or I hit this out of bounds the last time I was on the tee. All your mind is thinking, out of bounds, hit it right. Opposed to that favorite club, or let's say your friend's club that you've just been given and you haven't got that memory of bad shots, you've just seen him flush it for the last 4 holes. You're thinking, well, this is going to go well. I am going to hit a good shot here. And then lo and behold, you do. Now, that's a very small scratch surface of the mental side of the game, and something that I worked on heavily when I was trying to play well under pressure. But sometimes the clubs are different. This game's expensive. Once you bought a set of golf clubs, that's pretty much it. You're going to use that for the next 2-3 years. And the chances of trying different equipment either involves trying it brand new, fitted, but then obviously the repercussions of that is quite a lot of money, or you're going to try your friend's golf clubs, which to be honest might be better suited to yourself. You might have a 5-iron at the top end of the bag and your friend has a 5 hybrid alongside it. That club there potentially will be better suited for you. Higher launching, more forgiving, not necessarily as bladed. The other best bit about you trying your friend's golf clubs on the golf course is that you get to try it in the playing scenario on the golf course. And even though I've got all the kit here, honestly, I don't know if you're gonna hit it as well as you do in here than you do on the golf course. But then that is kind of why I like secondhand equipment, because even if I'm wrong and the club that I said go and buy doesn't work, well then you probably only lost a tenner, 20 quid, if you want to get rid of it quick, opposed to buying a brand new club, which after you've taken the wrapper off, well, you've lost a good 45% of it. And I will back up this notion with a left-handed club that I'll hit upside down. This isn't fitted for me because it's the wrong way round. I'm going to hit it out the toe, but I've got no expectations. Just like you wouldn't have with your mate's club on the first, second, third, fourth tee box when he lets you borrow it. Yet, when you go and buy the club, again, exact same spec, exact same shaft, second hand, 50 quid, 60 quid, maybe you bought a brand new one, take it to the range, hit it well to start off with, but then you've hit a bad one. Then you hit another bad one. And then all of a sudden, that honeymoon period, the confidence you had with it has somewhat lost, has gone somewhere. All of a sudden, the magic that you had on the golf course has now disappeared, and you're left with a golf club that you're not confident with. That's when you've got to do the hard work. Positive feedback, positive reinforcement, visualize the shot, and hit it over and over again. If that sounds very familiar to your golf game, I highly recommend a book by Bob Rotella, Golf's Not a Game of Perfect, but it talks a lot about the visualization of golf so you can have that constant honeymoon period with your golf game. If you like this video, you might like this one up here on the right hand side. Catch you guys later.